Hey, welcome to Founders Club. I'm Alex Lagos. Today, we're sitting down with someone who has turned a simple idea into one of Nashville's most in-demand wellness brands. Sydney Dumler is the owner of Forza Pilates, a studio that has not only built a loyal community, but redefined what boutique fitness can feel like in this city. Sydney didn't come from a traditional business background. She was driven by passion, curiosity, and a belief that Nashville needed something different. And in a market filled with gyms and fitness concepts, she carved out a lane by focusing on the experience. From intentional design and strong brand identity to a training philosophy that emphasizes strength, alignment, and longevity, Forza stands out. In this episode, we get into the realities of building a brick and mortar business in a growing city. We talk about taking risks, betting on yourself, scaling team culture, and creating a brand people don't just join, they identify with. Before we jump in, check the episode description on this episode, whatever platform you are watching or listening on, for links to the Founders Club app, where you'll find content, resources, and information about our monthly events and more. Without further ado, let's get into it. Sydney, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
When I take a look at like great brand marketers, like you're up there. I've been a chief marketing officer 3 times. Like I'm more of a performance marketer and I love like all the numbers and all the things. But like you are one that does brand really, really well.
Thank
you. I want to dig into that in a little bit. But if we start at the beginning, tell us a little bit about like the vision and the dream and the need that you saw for Forza Pilates and how it all came to be.
Yeah. I guess the vision started a few years before we opened. I've worked in fitness since I was 18. I'm from Colorado, which is a very fitness-oriented, wellness-oriented place. Moved here for music to go to Belmont, and I was like, people don't really care about eating healthy or at the time working out, like yoga. There weren't as many studios. And so I got super into like bringing that into the community. I helped open a few core power studios all throughout college. And so I loved evolving and being a part of that wellness growth in Nashville. I had thought maybe one day I'd have my own studio because I always loved interior design and creating merch and making events and different things happen. But it just kind of happened based on a demand, honestly. I got into Pilates right after COVID. I feel like it was harder to go to yoga classes and I got out of my routine. So I tried during COVID and then everything shut down. I was like, oh, I really liked that. I want to get back into it. And then I realized there weren't that many studios. The class capacities for Pilates were a lot smaller. And I was like, okay, if I'm feeling like I need it, I'm sure other people are too. And I kept thinking like, how would I do it? How would I design a space? How would I want it to look and feel? And it kind of just naturally happen. And the more I talked to close friends about it, the more I was like, I think I should actually do this.
You know, it's like an underrated thing in entrepreneurship now that I think about it. It's a safer bet actually starting a business where like you go and you take a look at the tier 1 cities, whether that's a London, whether that's a Tokyo, whether that's a New York, whether that's an LA, and take a look at something that has product market fit in that market and demand in that market already, and actually be the one to be able to bring that to this market. We heard that actually on a past episode with Luke Smiley about Radish Kitchen, where it's the same thing. Luke and Amanda were from California, and you know, in LA, you have a lot of organic options. You have, you know, actually decent vegan options if you want to eat vegan and not make it feel like you're eating vegan. And you know, when they came to Nashville, they craved the thing that they once knew and that they once had. And I even think of like another local restaurant, Eastside Banh Mi, was the exact same thing. They moved from San Francisco where, you know, banh mi's are prevalent. And here, I think at the time, like there wasn't a single place that was actually like making their own baguettes and making their own pate. So you have this vision, and let's double tap a little bit on like the love for architecture, because this rolls straight into what I mean in terms of like, you know, brand so well. Like reformer Pilates, like there's some reformers that look super, I don't know, like jungle gymmy, if that makes sense, right?
There's like a lot of different machines.
Yeah, there's a lot of different machines, a lot of different styles. That's one element of it. But then you have this entire aesthetic and really like an entire almost like lifestyle that is built around it. So talk to us about like some of your inspirations, and how did you think about starting to actually build out from vision into something that's physical?
Yeah. Oh, I could go on. Well, I've always loved interior design. I've always been very creative, loved drawing, loved fashion. And so I think starting at like age 6, I would always sketch like what I wanted my room to look like. I'd rearrange it, I'd repaint it, like I'd buy new furniture and make things for it every week. And so it was kind of just a fun creative project to be thinking about like, how can I make a studio feel like a really, really nice hotel? I love traveling. I love staying at boutique hotels and like experiencing all the detail that goes into a luxury stay. And I wanted to think about how we could bring that into fitness. I think an important thing to note, I'm not a fitness girl. I've always worked out, but I think what would buy me into a studio, especially as someone who I couldn't find the motivation to go to a gym. I always needed the accountability of group class, the community and energy of being in a group class. But I loved going to spas and nice hotels and shopping. And I was like, how do I make this not feel like a workout? Because I think sometimes fitness can have like a negative connotation, like you're like punishing yourself by going to the gym. And I was like, I want this to feel like a treat, like you're staying somewhere nice or you're like enjoying an experience. And so I really approached it not in the eyes of like building a fitness studio. I was building an experience for a customer that felt really luxury. And so most of my inspiration actually didn't come from fitness. It came from like hospitality and staying at nice places and thinking about every detail at every nice hotel. Like they embroider your pillowcase, they have really nice amenities in the bathrooms, like the towels are folded perfectly. So I even thought about like, how are we going to fold the towels at Forza? We're not going to have a hand dryer. We're not going to have paper towels. We're going to have hand rolled white waffle towels. So that was really mainly the approach.
Can you talk about like early iterations of that and how it's kind of evolved over time? Like, was there anything that you had built in up front that you thought was going to be the move that just didn't fit and you abandoned, or how things came along as you went?
Honestly, I feel like the build out process and the leasing process took so long that I had so much time to think about everything and work out the kinks before we opened. It probably took 2 years between finding the space and having the idea to building it out. So I feel like I worked out the kinks for our flagship to where I really was able to nail down that customer experience. And then I think the fact that it's so easily translated into a Soho House residency is like proof of concept, because it fits so perfectly with one of those nice boutique hotels that was already providing that experience. So when we came in, it's like we're already doing concierge level, we're using clients' names, we're building community, we're already hosting events, we're, you know, reaching a certain clientele in Nashville that was very aligned with Soho House. So I think that just proved that we kind of got what we were going for, that they wanted to work with us, and has evolved even more into like servicing their hotel guests and being a part of a hotel, basically.
As I think through like the things that you did, like two really smart things, if I'm recapping, that I'm hearing is like you knew exactly who you were building for.
Yeah.
And one of the smartest things is that you were building for yourself, which is an avatar that you know so well, and you're not making assumptions about that. Second thing that I think is really smart is just knowing that you're not in the commodity race, that there's not an absence of places to be able to get movement in, whether that's in Nashville or whether that's in any city. One of the highest growing double-digit compound annual growth rate businesses right now is actually the low-price fitness. So think about like your Planet Fitness type places. And you know, when you take a look at like a Planet Fitness, where I don't even know how much it is.
It's like $10 a month.
Yeah.
Isn't
It's
it?
like $10
really
a
low,
month.
yeah.
And you start taking a look at like experience, you can either make the play to try to compete there, or you can build in a style and in a direction where people aren't comparing on price, because they're comparing on emotion and how do you feel when you're walking out.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just a completely different way to build. You've also built like a community to the point where like walking around, I'll see women with canvas bags or with sweatshirts. It's one thing to build something that somebody is a fan of and that they participate in and they post the Instagram story. It's another thing to build something that people wear.
It's like a cult. Just kidding.
In the best way.
Yeah.
One of the good ones.
Look, what do you think are the elements to being able to build that? Because if it was like as easy as a tactical playbook, I think more brands would do it.
For sure. Honestly, it wasn't intentional. So I don't know how we did that. But I think it kind of goes back to what you just said, where I was building something for me. So I know it so well. And I think about what I would want, knowing that there's probably other girls in Nashville that if they're choosing Pilates, they have expensive tastes, which means they're going to appreciate some of those smaller details, like a custom candle scent, because most nice hotels have stuff like that. They're going to appreciate feeling special and having the instructor know their name, or coming to the machine and having it be set for their height because we remember that the first time they came in. And even just having a workout that can be so customized to where you're getting semi-private training for the price of a group class. So we're just constantly trying to add to that value and make people feel really good when they leave. I think part of the experience and maybe what keeps people coming back, just if they're coming in initially for a workout, I train the instructors in Forza Method, which there's nothing crazy to it, but the whole idea around Forza Method is to use positive language and to offer options so that the clients don't have to stop moving the whole time. So it goes by fast. And by the end of it, whether they're modifying the whole time or taking the advanced options the whole time, they did the entire workout. Because I think I've been to so many workouts that push clients to exhaustion and then you leave feeling like crap.
It's intimidating.
Yes, you've left being like, oh, I couldn't do it. Like I want to work up to being able to finish the class, but at Forza, you should be able to get through the entire thing and not feel like negatively about getting through it and taking the modifications, because they're trained to offer modifications as a positive thing, not a negative thing or a neutral thing. And so I think part of what hooked people initially maybe was the social media presence or just the intrigue of the aesthetic of the brand, but I don't think that's what would keep people coming continually. I think it's the community building, the instructors that we hire, the way that we train them, and the experience of people leaving feeling good, feeling like they got a good workout in, feeling like they could do the entire thing, and just feeling really strong and confident in themselves.
You said the community portion of what you have going on didn't come intentionally. How did it come?
I think it honestly came from just community service, or not community service, oh my gosh, customer service. So again, thinking about hospitality, if you stay at the Ritz-Carlton, like they know your name, they know everything about you. So I was very adamant about who I hired from the beginning. And I think having friendly staff naturally built community. And then when I threw out like, oh, we're doing an event with the business next door, we're going to have cold plunges, and people signed up, I was like, okay, people like that. And then seeing that people wanted to buy a sweatshirt with our name on it. The first time I ordered merch, my brother makes all of our merch. I think I ordered like 20 sweatshirts. They were gone in the first week. And I was like, one, I had to charge a lot for them because I only purchased so many units. Right. My brother was like, these aren't going to be cheap. And then just seeing that people wanted to wear my brand, I'm like, oh, this is, I wouldn't say a status symbol, but I think it's something that people are proud to be like, I'm a part of this, which just is proof that we make people feel good about themselves. So I think that was like the aim, was like, I just want to make people feel good. And then them feeling good made them have a positive association with the brand. And then it just kind of happened from there, I guess.
Let's talk about social a little bit, because I think social and like the aspiration of the lifestyle is a part of that for sure.
Yeah.
You and I have never traveled together. I would love to travel with you. I've never gone on a trip with you, but I've lived.
You've been there.
I've lived it and I've been there, and I don't understand because we're sitting in the exact same seat of the exact same airplane, and yet somehow your seat looks a lot more enjoyable and a lot more calming and a lot more like than the Southwest seat that I'm sitting in.
Yeah, we're probably in the same Southwest seat for sure.
Like there's a lifestyle there, but there was also a decision that you made to have part of your personality as a founder be pretty forward in the brand.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about that.
Again, not intentional with that. I am pretty shy. So I went to school for music. I thought I'd want to be an artist, but I was so like, I hated being the center of attention. I hated promoting myself. And then there was something about being able to do it behind the Forza name that made me a little bit less shy. And then naturally, just because I was so ingrained in everything that was happening, like I ran the social media, I taught a lot of the classes at the beginning, I answered every email, every Instagram DM at the beginning. So it kind of happened unintentionally just because I was trying to run a profitable business. So I was wearing every single hat. I was designing everything. I was emailing. I was sending, like any message anyone got ever in the first few months was from me.
Founder mode.
And so it created that, really personal connection with clients. And honestly, part of why I ran the social media at the beginning was just to cut costs. And so a lot of the photos were just pictures of me, pictures from my camera roll. And I think people connected with that because it was super organic. And then it almost created Forza as this like person rather than this product or this service. And so I love that we kind of created this like it girl that people can aim to be, and it doesn't have to like look a certain way necessarily, or it's just more of like a feeling. Like we want people to feel like their best selves and like inspired, and to dress in a way that they've always wanted to dress, or to do a workout class that they were always intimidated by, or even just to treat themselves to the Sun Life smoothie. I don't know. I feel like we're just creating this like aspirational thing that feels like approachable at the same time.
Has it been challenging as you've scaled to delegate those things while still maintaining the brand feel that you injected into it at the start?
Yes. I feel like I still don't delegate as much as I should. I'm running right now with no full-time employees, so I work 80 hours a week at least.
Hell yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah. So you guys know how it is. I work a lot. But I think it would be so hard to fully delegate that and maintain the integrity. So I've definitely brought in team members who fully understand. And I think it was smart to wait until the brand was fully evolved and really clear in its direction, and then bring people on who could already see it, understand it, and like work with it. So yeah, I work with a really great marketing team now out of New York, and it feels really seamless. Like if you look at our Instagram, it still looks the same. Our emails only look better since I brought them on. And then I have a good friend who helps me with a lot of the social content too, but I still oversee all of it.
How do you, like, as you're bringing teammates on, how do you take a look at this is a person that you can trust with the experience?
Yeah.
And how do you inspect for consistency, and how do you deliver consistency?
Definitely. I have a lot of secret shoppers, a lot of friends that are members, which is super helpful. But our hiring process is kind of intense. Someone will email me, "Are you hiring front desk?" I look them up in our system. If they've never been to class, I don't even bother.
Strong.
Because we need someone who really understands as a client what it feels like to go to Forza. So I will not hire people unless they really understand that.
Sean Booth does the same thing, by the way.
Smart,
He's played it the same way at BC, where he's just like, you got to at least come in here and take some classes, and you might not even want to stick around after that.
Yeah. I mean, how would they even know if they want to work here? So we definitely hire community first. But I think something I learned early on, a lot of my background is in programming. So my passion in college, I would train all of the instructors at Core Power. I led so many trainings, and I became really passionate about how to turn instructors into really, really strong coaches and community building. Just adding that aspect of training other teachers was like my favorite thing. And so when it was time to open a studio, I was like, I don't know if anyone would want to do my training. I think my training is great because I have such a strong background in programming. But what I love about it is, if you think about most companies, they have to pay their employees to go through a tedious training process just to find out if they'll be good. Mm-hmm. Our staff pay to train with us because we're offering a service and a experience to learn how to teach Pilates. So we aren't losing money on training. We're actually making money on training. So from a business standpoint, it's great. But then also you get 8+ weeks with those people to really evaluate, okay, yes, we can train them. Of course, we can give them the material, coach them. But now we can also see over these 8 weeks, like, how do they interact with the other people in their group? How do they interact when they're coming in? How do they treat me versus the front desk person that's folding their towel? We get to really see and get to know them and see how they build relationships. Because if they build relationships really well within people in their training, then that's a good sign that they might get along well with the team.
Yeah.
Is there high turnover in your industry in terms of like from an instructor
fitness,
perspective?
There is, but a lot of our instructors in front desk have been with us since the beginning.
That's
so
awesome.
We've been really lucky to have that.
It makes it easier to maintain the brand, obviously.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
Great.
But even then, like as we have these trainings, we have a long wait list of people like ready and hopeful, and then it builds that appreciation when they do get hired. They had to work so hard to go through the training, and they understand that like we're very particular about who we hire. And I always say, like, you can train someone how to cue, how to be a good instructor, but you can't train someone how to be a good person. So there are people who are coachable for sure, and maybe they are still new to teaching, but like I love their heart, and I'm like, I will work with you. I will come in early Monday, Wednesday, Friday and do one-on-one with you because I see the potential, and I know that person is going to make clients feel comfortable. And again, it's all about like how we make people feel. So that's honestly what I look for more than skill, I would say.
One of the best like learning experiences I've ever had in my life was I got to spend a day with a woman who is responsible for global quality at the Four Seasons globally.
Wow.
That's
and
awesome.
The Four Seasons is a brand just like the Ritz-Carlton that is like this aspirational brand, but it stands apart. And part of the way that they do it is through a 100-point checklist. And the 100-point checklist is everything from when you drive up to a Four Seasons, most of the time you go through like a security booth, they get your name. That feels like just a clipboard thing, but then the person that opens your car door already knows your name because they got it before and they radioed ahead. And they have other rules like you can't wait more than, I think it was 30 seconds after you walk in before you're helped by the front desk.
Nice.
And those things and the experiences go through, and they even have like a daily stand-up where they review every single guest who's about to check in. But the piece that I thought was incredible was they document really, really well as well. And their intention is that those preferences even follow you around to other places. So example, like if they know that you went to UCLA and you're a UCLA fan, in a future stay, you might find like a mug in your room.
That.
And like I listened to the way that you describe the experience and talk about the experience, and you're very, very clear, like we're going to remember your preferences and the machine will be set for you. And you say that not only internally, but you're saying that externally. And I think I've heard you say that a few times now, which is really an incredible way of being able to then not only set expectations internally within your team, but people actually know about these things even before they apply to even work. Like somebody who's listening or watching this show right now could actually be a future instructor who's doing homework for a job interview right now. But man, what great marketing too, when you're sharing with your customers, like or your guests, like what the experience is going to be like coming in.
Definitely. I think we want people to know how much thought goes into every single thing. And my favorite part about that is that like our clients notice that and they appreciate that. We had a retreat and we did embroidered pillowcases on everybody's rooms, and my mom helped me put them on all the pillows before they checked in. She's like, we should text them and tell them that their pillowcase has their initials. I'm like, Mom, we don't need to tell. They will notice. And of course, I check the stories that night. Everyone's posting like, oh my gosh, the details.
Totally.
So it's nice to do that and know that it's not a thankless job. Like the clients really appreciate it and it keeps them coming back.
Yeah, we stayed at a Rosewood where they did that with our kids' pillows.
So fun.
And that night, or the night before we checked out, I even asked my wife, I was just like, should I take them? Like, should I take it and just like bring it home? And on the very last day when housekeeping came, they actually gift wrapped them.
Nice.
And they left them gift wrapped. And I was just like, well, this takes all the fun out of stealing from hotels.
Yeah.
But you know,
Like
also,
we want you to steal it.
it also takes the awkwardness of it though out of it too. You know what I mean? Like they've been like, no, this is absolutely
Take it.
This is
Go for it.
absolutely
definitely.
yours.
No
Yeah.
mistake. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the name Forza. Like, what does it mean?
It means strength. I'm Italian. I know I look Asian. I'm Japanese and Italian. And I wanted to pay homage. And I really thought, like, do I go with a Japanese name or an Italian name? But my style influences for, like, the design were a lot more European. So if you watch F1, like, they're always like, Forza Ferrari. So it can also mean, like, let's go. So I kind of like
Love
the
that.
energy of it being, like, this really encouraging word that has multiple meanings.
And like, tell me about like the evolution of the business. Like when you take a look at how you started, capital light, W-2 employee light, to making investments at the right time and place. What have those investments been, and how do you see that evolving in the future?
Well, we're opening a new location. Thank you. It
amazing.
should be open hopefully January 2026. So that's been a huge investment. Hopefully I'll feel like I made the right decision once it's open. The response has been good so far. But even that, like, obviously it takes a lot to open and build out a space in Franklin, Tennessee. And so I'm still keeping it slim. I'm still doing everything myself. That's been a huge investment. another investment we made was actually our coffee cart. I felt like we were doing well with so many events, and just to have those branded moments and to make everything feel really custom, it felt like a good investment to me. So I ordered that from Italy. I was like, I have to get the nicest possible coffee cart.
You just wanted it.
But yeah, I wanted it. But I was like, this is an investment into our events. And I mean, the clients love it. So you can see it's translated onto social, like investing in the retreats and some of those branded moments, like they pay off because people want to share that and be like, I'm at Forza. And it says it right there on our coffee cart.
It would be one thing, and I think a lot, like there are others who will start a fitness studio, but fragrance, apparel, retreats, smoothie collaboration.
Have you tried it?
I haven't had it yet.
Not yet. But
we should have had him for this. That would have been a nice touch.
Yeah.
We blew that.
Next time.
maybe
We're learning from you now.
Maybe every future episode.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't know what's the price point on them.
Yeah. How do you decide like what feels on brand, partnerships worth exploring, partnerships not worth exploring, and like how do you think about that?
Honestly, it's just a lot of it, again, has to do with my personal taste. Like I'm like, I'm a huge fan of Sun Life. I would love to see if they're open, and then they are open to it. And then a lot of collaborations we've had as well are brands that we carry in the studio. So a lot of our wholesale partnerships have kind of rolled into event partnerships. So we carry a ton of activewear, we carry certain fancy water, we carry different brands. And so we've shown that support to the brands just by purchasing. And then if clients love it, that's great news to us that they like this brand. And so by the time we reach out and we say, hey, we want to have a class with you, or we'd love for you to sponsor our retreat, they're very familiar. They're like, oh, this is one of our clients. So I think that's been a really good way to build relationship. And then I just met with Alex from Detox House. So meeting people through Soho House and just people in the neighborhood, honestly. People in Nashville love local businesses. So we've tried to keep it really close to home in that way too.
How we met.
We met
how
at
we
Soho.
met. And love Alex. Getting a little bit tactical on partnerships. So something that we get asked all the time is, how do you host events at this boutique hotel that you partner with?
Yeah.
And without going into details about that deal or any other specific deal, like we'd love to understand like your approach towards partnerships. So you identify these brands that are like the partnerships that you've done are not like these small, medium business partnerships.
Yeah.
Like these are national brands, sometimes international brands. So step one is like dream up the brand.
I do have a dream list.
And like have the courage to go after that list. But after you identify the list, like how do you start taking the first steps towards building the relationship, negotiating the partnership, the give, the take, and actually making it come to life?
Definitely. I think similar to how I want to hire people who are customers first, I think starting as a customer or a member of the brand that you want to work with is super important. So, I mean, if I wanted to do a Sun Life collab and I wasn't already going there every week, like knew their menu, knew their clientele, like saw the value in what they were creating, it really wouldn't make sense. But some of our partnerships have been inbound, which is crazy. Jenny Kane was a brand that was on like my dream list. They're a nationally known home skincare, like luxury goods. And I was like, I would love to work with this brand, but I had no idea how to get in touch with them. They opened a store in Nashville. They somehow got my contact information, and it's always very collaborative. We'll set up a call and be like, what can we do? I'm a verbal processor. So if we talk for like an hour, I'll have a million ideas by the end of it. And so that's usually how it starts. You know, we had a call and our partnership has evolved a lot. We usually do ticketed sales just so that the customer really sees the value. It gives us budget to really focus on adding to that experience, whether it's through decorations or hiring vendors. So usually it's kind of like a split collaboration with a lot of these brands. But Jenny Kane evolved from me just teaching mat classes in their store to now we host a quarterly wellness workshop. We've brought in an acupuncturist, a nutritionist. And so I think as you start to develop the relationship with the brand, like your ideas get bigger, you find one event to be successful and just continue to evolve that.
How do you think about balancing luxury with accessibility? You've mentioned a few times like the accessibility of the Forza brand. You know, when you take a look at the history of Pilates, right? started in a prison. First, I think, certified Pilates instructor was an African woman, not American, because it was in Europe, right?
Yes, I think it was in Germany.
In Germany.
I'm scared that I could be wrong.
I'm learning right now. I don't know any of this.
And so I did my homework.
Yeah, clearly.
And so when you take a look at Pilates started in a prison, Black woman was one of the first certified instructors. And yet, like for me, not knowing much about Pilates, living in the US, like I think LA studio, New York studio, I think $40, $50 classes. I think walking in with organic food, walking out with the La La Land cold brew. That's like, how do you think about that balance so that it truly is accessible and open and inviting for everyone?
It's definitely evolved a lot into kind of what you're talking about now. I think even men sometimes feel like, oh, I can't do Pilates, which it was started by a man. I think there's really not a way around like the price point. Like Pilates is expensive, and part of it's because in order to get certified to teach Pilates, it takes a long time and a lot of money. The equipment's really expensive. Because of how complicated the equipment is, you don't want to have too many people in a class or there's risk for injury. So from a business standpoint, like there is that threshold where it is definitely a more expensive workout because you're paying for basically semi-private training. So there wasn't really a way around, especially wanting to be luxury. Like I knew the price had to make sense, but that didn't mean that we couldn't be a welcoming, approachable studio from like the faces that represent Forza. So I'm an Asian American. I'm obviously creating representation in the industry. I don't know that many female entrepreneurs in wellness in Nashville. And so it was really important to me to showcase diversity and then to not just like say it or show it in a shallow way. Like we host monthly plus size Pilates classes. We host classes for postpartum moms to bring their babies with them. Like I think you really have to show that you mean it, you know? And so I wanted to live that out and be like, okay, yes, we're expensive, but we're providing an experience for anyone who wants to come and can afford to come. And we're also on ClassPass, which makes it a lot more accessible for some of our students. Like if they can be flexible on time, like there is another way to still approach our workout that's more affordable.
It also makes it easier to justify that price point when you're going as far above and beyond as you are to create and that kind of experience. You know what I mean? Like what you've curated, nobody would walk out the door afterwards being like, I paid way too much for what I just did. I would assume most people, if not all, are being like, they should be charging way more money. You know?
I would hope so.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel anytime I leave Orange Theory. Like,
what? That you paid too much money?
Yeah, way too much money. way too much money to have the person next to me destroy me on the rower.
Oh my gosh.
Right now, orange lights. Have you, on that note, how do you view kind of like pricing, price increasing? Like, is that something that you think about in forecast for yourself, or are you just kind of like, no, we're happy where we're at right now? And I'm asking selfishly because we obviously are thinking about that type of stuff here at the studio.
I think it's tricky. I think it's a lot harder to raise your prices after you've set them. I know a lot of studios have raised their prices just because it's so expensive to run a business right now. But I think at least for the Nashville Franklin market, our prices will remain the same. I do think if we go into a different city, like maybe it could look different, but we're already charging significantly more than most of the studios in Nashville. So it's a tough balance to like maintain that and not push the boundary too far, you know?
Sure.
So I think our prices right now are pretty in line with being luxury, being in a competitive market like Nashville. But if we were to open in Miami, the market might be a little bit different. But I think in order to be in that luxury sector, like you have to have a certain price point. And then that allows for us to add all those other touches, like the hand rolled towels. Like a lot of studios operate with low overhead costs. So everywhere else that I taught before Forza opened, if I was teaching, I was the only person working. And that is great from a business standpoint. But from the customer standpoint, there's no one to greet you because the instructor's running through their class plan. They went to the bathroom, so there's nobody there when you check in, and you don't know which machine you're on and how to work it. So we definitely invested a lot in having concierges, but I think it was well worth it. But that's also why it's more expensive to operate the business, because we have more staff working in order to elevate that customer experience, make sure that they get greeted and familiar with the space.
So Alex and I are girl dads, and at home there's just like toys all over the place. So I want to do a reaction to how Alex and I are thinking about doing Pilates at home.
Yes.
So I'm gonna flip this around, turn the audio up, and then get a live reaction from you.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. That's actually very impressive. You have to try this. Okay, skater. Oh, lateral lunge. Sorry, that's a lateral lunge. Someone said we're former Pilates.
Ooh, nice. Pilates.
I love that.
Love it.
Someone was doing that in the summer on like a pool floaty. They were going out into a plank with their hands on like a floaty, and Pilates is hard, so I'm impressed.
So the toys are going to put you out of business. That's what we're saying.
I can't wait to see you guys try that out.
We're going to come in a month. She's going to have toys on the floor.
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, we do online workouts, so maybe we'll incorporate a little toy car.
Talk about that. What does that look like? How did that come about? Digital stuff.
Fisher Price
I know,
collab.
a little segue.
That's nice, actually. Yeah. Baby stress reformer.
Honestly, they're probably going to start making little baby reformers now.
Yeah.
That'd be so cute. So Forza Digital World, we get DMs all the time. Please open in Minneapolis, and no shade to Minneapolis, but it's going to take me a long time before I can get to opening a studio there. Sure. And so we get a lot of messages from people that want us to open in their city. And I'm like, how do we get this to them now? And so allowing our instructors to film workouts, it's only $7.99 a month. So I think that's also a really nice approach to, if our reformer workouts are too expensive or if you live too far away, like we have another option. So they're mat workouts. You don't need any equipment with them. And it's bringing the Forza method into your house. But of course, because we are a lifestyle brand, it didn't make sense to me to just have workouts, because I think of Forza as a lot more than a workout. So beyond that, we have weekly content. It can be a fashion article written by my friend and local celebrity stylist, Olivia. It could be a lifestyle vlog of like a day in the life of one of our members, like coming to class and then going to work in Nashville. It could be an article written by the acupuncturist that we did a workshop with, talking about how important it is to live well and her tips of, postpartum recovery, things like that. So we have editorial content, video content, everything's shoppable. So it kind of creates that user experience of like, it's almost like a how to live in the Forza lifestyle, or how to be that it girl that you want to be.
I think you said cult earlier.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, you said it, not us.
In a good way. Yeah, for sure.
Funny.
How do you think about transforming that very physical, very tangible, very real service in person environment into a digital format?
Well, we use the same instructors. We've even filmed some of our workouts in the space. Originally, I was renting out like studios in Nashville, and we were filming, and my marketing team, they're so smart. They're like, people want to work out with you at Forza. They want to feel like they're at Forza in their living room. And so I think even just filming in the space, we have some new videos that are going to come up where it's almost like an immersive experience. But we train the same way. So we're offering modifications. We're giving encouragements through the screen. Like all of our instructors are trained to like give positive reinforcement. And so you'll see them even to the camera being like, great work. So it feels like you're still at a Forza class, especially on the videos that we filmed in studio.
That's awesome. Pivoting a little bit, like the mindset of an entrepreneur, you talked and you kind of referred to earlier, like the 80-hour week and the grit and the perseverance of an entrepreneur. What's been like the hardest step of the journey for you, and what would you give as advice to somebody else who's like going through that same phase of entrepreneurship right now?
It kind of changes based on the day, but I will say like a constant, and I don't regret this, but I think doing it on my own has been the challenge. I don't have a business partner.
Yeah.
So it can be really isolating because I want to maintain professional boundaries with people on my team. Obviously, I hire people that I love, and so I want to feel like I can go to them, but they're in a different position than I am. And so I'm close with my family, but they obviously don't understand the position I'm in. Both my parents have corporate jobs. My brother's a business owner, so we chat a little bit about what it's like. But yeah, I think I think something that's challenging is just not having a business partner. And so I don't know. I think I've just learned to figure out who I can trust. And like biggest advice is just to have a strong support system and like a really small circle of people that will give you good advice and sound advice and sometimes tell you no. I think because I don't have a business partner, I have like no boundaries. So anything I want to do, I'm like, I have free will. Like no one's going to tell me I can't do it. So I kind of have like people that keep me in line, I would say. That's really helpful. And I think that's sort of what a business partner would do as well.
Yeah, and support on that, because we don't have co-founders on our current ventures either. And like the support from a peer network and like others who know, not just like struggle in life, because to your point, like friends, family, like if you haven't tried to build something, you don't know what it's like to build something. And if we knew what it was like to build something, we might not have started to begin with, right? The corporate job might have been the easier route, but like having others who do understand the journey is just such a big part of it. You know, number one and number two reason why businesses go out of business. So over 50% of businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. So the odds are stacked against you. Number one, running out of capital. Number two, co-founder disagreements.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Co-founder disagreements.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So you're kind of damned
I'm
if
good.
you do, damned if you don't. You know? Can you, where you are really like shaping what a Pilates studio brand can be, do you ever wrestle with the how you want to do it and the how you think it should be done?
No.
How do you do that?
I don't look at other studios. If I catch myself doing it, I have to like, I'll press not interested on TikTok, not because I don't support other female founders. I am rooting for them. Okay.
That's not how we're going to spend this.
I want every business to be successful, but if I like worry about what anyone else is doing or what else is coming to town, like it's just not a good way to operate, like from that fear standpoint. So I know that what got me to this point is trusting myself and doing what like my gut says, or knowing that I built a business for a client who is me. I think it's really easy to want to take advice from other people, which is helpful, but I think I have to trust that it got me this far to really just know myself and my business from the inside out. And yeah, I mean, I think that's really the most important thing, is just having the confidence in myself. And it comes and goes. There are some times that I second guess myself, but that's where the really important foundation of people around me comes in and kind of reminds me like why I started this and what I'm aiming to do and what my goal is. Like if I get stressed about something, it's like they kind of redirect me into reminding me what my vision is and what my purpose is.
That's a really... It's so counter to how I think. Just because, and maybe it's just because of the career marketer. Like, I grew up in brands. I grew up working at Best Buy for 10 years. And, you know, back in the early 2000s, we literally had people that would go to Walmart and go to Target and take pictures and scan prices. And this was like before Walmart.com and before Target.com. And, you know, like we knew every single move that every other retailer made on the Sunday when, you know, the periodical would come out in the newspaper and like the sales would come out. And so I guess I just grew up in this environment of like very outward competitive shopping. So as you're explaining like that you don't look, you know, my head goes to instantly like, that makes me uncomfortable. And then as you're talking about the confidence in your vision, that then brings me back to that place of comfort. But then as I'm understanding like how you're describing it, it's not that you're not taking inspirations. It's just that you're taking inspirations from these iconic brands outside of your industry.
A lot of my inspiration comes from like really big fashion houses. Like I'm looking at what Bottega Veneta is doing. I'm not looking at what Club Pilates is doing. Not that they're not a super successful business, but my inspiration is coming from somewhere completely different, like you said. And I think knowing that I believe when I built Forza, there really wasn't anything like it. And knowing that what I'm planning is 6 months from now, like if I'm looking at what Pilates studios are putting out today, like I'm 6 months behind them if you think about it. So it's like I'm always forward thinking of like what I want to do next, what makes sense for me. Like, does it make sense for a Pilates studio to have a perfume? Not really, but it makes sense for me because we launched a candle line and people loved it so much we couldn't keep it off the shelves. Even the Soho House clients that don't come to Pilates purchase it. And so I was like, this actually does make sense for me. Whereas if someone from the outside would be like, you're not going to sell perfume, you're a Pilates studio. But I think it just comes back to my vision and really a lot of inspiration from the fashion world.
It also works for her because her vision is unique and groundbreaking. So that's, you know what I mean? So that's like, great, we can do that. That'll work. I don't need to look at anybody else.
It's pushing the boundary too.
No
I
doubt.
think sometimes like the shock value of stuff is part of it, you know? Like I have a really cool plan for our Franklin studio. I don't know when this is coming out. We're going to have a photo booth. And like, I've never seen a Pilates studio that has a photo booth, but again, like it really feels aligned with our brand. And so I'm just doing what I think makes the most sense. Does it make sense? No, but it does.
It also feels like you did a lot of your like market research before you were like, okay, go. So then once you got to the point where you flipped the switch and we turned it on, you made this whole thing happen.
Oh,
Well, not even
You were already like, I know what's out there. I'm good. Let's go. Yeah.
She not only did the market research before, she grew up in that market.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, she lived that market and then knew what she craved
Yes.
that wasn't out in the market.
No man could create Forza because they weren't on We Heart It in 2013. They weren't on Tumblr in 2011. They were, you know, like a lot of my inspiration goes so far back to like fashion magazines when I was 12, even like the Forza digital styling and like the way we film it, like it's super nostalgic and like it's really all about the experience of like being a modern woman. And so if some like corporate guy wanted to come in and be like, let's replicate this is a good like cash grab, like it just wouldn't work because it's all about the female experience.
Yeah, and I think the power of that brand is even for us to sit here and acknowledge the power of it even before starting this episode and actually to be able to like witness the power of the branding even as not your ideal clients.
Yeah, I love that.
And yet so feeling welcome enough that as soon as we Fisher Price collab, we work on our core that we can't come in.
I'm quickly getting obsessed with your business.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I've
I
learned,
can keep going.
Like we looked into obviously to have you on here. I didn't know the depth that you went to. Hearing you talk about how obsessed you are with those small touches is like, it's addicting. It's incredible.
Thank you.
It really is. But it's also to the point where like if we saw an article in Vogue, we would just go, yeah, that's on brand.
For sure. No question.
Would love.
Yeah. Are they on the Dream Collab list?
Yes, of course.
It wouldn't even be a surprise.
Yeah.
I love that.
I know a contributor that writes for them.
Hook me up.
We should make an introduction.
We should. That's one of my dreams.
She was a past client of mine when she worked at Carbon 38.
Nice.
And she has started this incredible lab-grown diamond direct-to-consumer company.
What's it called?
We'll make the introduction.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll
send it to me.
And
That
we'll
sounds
see.
amazing.
We'll see the collab.
Cool.
So, like, Forza is so much more than just a Pilates studio. We've talked about all of these different experiential things. Part of this experience is really the retreats and being able to immerse somebody in the experience. So, tell us about how that's gone and what you're planning.
Yeah. So the first retreat kind of came about from just an instructor being like, I want to do this. Do you want to support me? And I was like, sure. And then I got so into it because I only go like all in. And so we did our first retreat. It was amazing. We did it in the Hamptons. And then I was like, okay, I think we could do that again. But of course I was like, we have to do it bigger. We have to do it better. So we announced that we were doing it again. We had a wait list of like 200 people that just wanted to be notified. We sold out in like 15 minutes, which was so crazy because it's not an inexpensive experience, you know, in order to make it work for the business. Like we do have costs associated with creating these experiences. But we really like, I see all these brands that bring huge creators and influencers on these trips and get to experience like having their room set up with all this cool makeup and skincare and outfits and all these things, and then have all these fun activities. And I see like the modern woman craving that VIP experience, but a lot of those things are invite only. And I was like, we can create a VIP experience. The brand will hopefully be able to pull in these partners who can help contribute to that experience. And So that's what we did. We basically did a brand trip that we invited, people signed up for it. So our VIP clients like got to come to the Hamptons. We brought them out there for 3 days. We had a private yacht dinner. We had a private jet. We went all out, again, like shock value. I was like, I want this to be the best experience ever. And my accountant probably was like, you barely broke even on this trip. And I try to explain, like, his name is Mike. He's awesome. But I'm like, Mike, you don't get it. Like, it's not about making money. Like, everyone that came on that trip, they will be a member for life. They will tell all of their friends to join Forza. They will come on every retreat. They will sign up for the subscription. Like, we're building client relationships. We're building memories. The girls that came on the retreat just had to get together at Federales last weekend. Like, we're building community, and that costs money. A lot of brands lose money on those brand trips because they're paying for people to go. And I'm like, we're able to provide this experience for our clients that choose to come, and they felt like it was worth every penny because they're getting thousands of dollars worth of gifting from these brands that were so kind to work with us because they want to be a part of what we're building too. So it was a ton of work. It was so fun. And now I'm like, where are we going next?
And telling the accountant it's not about making money is a bold move. I like it though.
Does not
He
compute.
thinks I'm crazy.
he's like, that's weird because it is actually.
Yeah, he doesn't understand it at all. But there's a method to my madness.
There's, it depends on what time horizon you're looking at.
No doubt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That is making you money, just not right now.
Because it depends on the time horizon. I used to work for a manager who went on to be CFO of Burberry stores. Wow. And, like when you take a look at the capital expenditure to be able to open up a Burberry store, it's one of the highest cost per square foot retail investments ever. And when you take a look at like a lot of these retail establishments in general, it's actually an e-com play. Mm-hmm. It's a brand play. It's a showroom that, Peloton's not breaking even on like a Peloton space in a mall. Mm-hmm. Like they're breaking even by the number of people that get exposure to the brand that share the brand and that ultimately end up being online digital purchases. But it's just the time frame. All right. For somebody who wants to be on the wait list for the next retreat, where can they go to learn more about you, about Forza, and follow all the things?
On our website, so forza-pilates.com, it'll take you to our digital, to our shop page. We have a Christmas candle. Oh, sorry, timing-wise. I don't know if that will work out.
You're good. Go for it.
You can purchase our products on our website. You can sign up for a class if you're in Nashville. Our Instagram is Forza Pilates. My Instagram is Sydney Dumler. I think that's it.
Sydney, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for
joining us.
Thank you.
That was so fun.